here in the Sir Dab, one of our great pharaohs, where the sun, when the sun rises every day at a particular time, this is inside of his Sir Dab. This is his car. You know what I'm saying? And it has a hole just large enough that the sun would hit him on the pineal gland every day. And he's transcending, life and transcending space, taking his consciousness throughout the universe. And also the Almighty is, you understand, bringing life to his car. So even in death, we're connected to the cosmos. There is no death when you understand that. It's a continuation of life. So we have to understand that we are children of the sun, and we've been taught away from that by religion and by those that are not connected. You understand? And not only just, it's not just, just going out, getting in the sun. It's also understanding that we are the caretakers or the custodians by divine authority. And that's not a responsibility that you can vacate. And we've vacated that responsibility. You understand? When you say caretaker of the planet Earth, that means you are to take care. That that you should care for the Earth, because this is all that we have. And in our default of taking care of the Earth, meaning that we even have to go to war with those who would tip the balance in favor of chaos. We haven't done that. And so digging in the earth and removing the vital elements from the earth, you understand, when you do that, then everything that's in the earth was required by creation in order for it to function the way that it does. And so when you take the elements out of the earth and you take the caretaker who is actually responsible and have the humanity to hold that office, you remove us from, and we allow them to remove us, then they tip the balance. And that's no different than somebody bleaching the melanin out of their face and out of their skin. When you bleach the earth of the minerals, you tip the balance. And what happens is the earth begin to function in a way that you don't intend. All types of storms, all type of earthquakes, fires, and that's because you have depleted the earth of many of its natural resources that is needing, and this is the outcome. This is the backlash from that. Now let's talk about our hair, because it is divine hair. In Daniel 7:9, it speaks that I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit. It didn't talk about nobody. It said the Ancient. So this is God the Father. You understand? This is the Almighty God, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. And that's very significant, because many Bibles try to clean that up. Because when you say the pure wool, you done sent a significant message that cannot be refuted. You see what I'm saying? His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. You see what I'm saying? So you look to the right, you see that's the Buddha. You understand? All the ancient Christ of the from the ancient world were black, and they had woolly hair, and they were pure African. And when they say pure, let's deal with what pure means. Pure means not mixed. You see, it means not mixed or adulterated with any other substance. So when it said his hair was like the pure wool, it means he was not mixed. That means he was pure African. You see what I'm saying? And so they really messed up when they put that in there, because they didn't intend to get that by. And so a lot of other versions have taken that out. And I'm going to show you how they try to play us. And then, but once you know how you being played, you don't get played. It says free of any contamination. So it means he wasn't mixed. Because you say, some people say, well, mixed people got, some woolly hair. No, it says not mixed. So that is clear that we clear that up. So these were Christ figures, Now let's deal with the word Christ so we can understand that, because a lot of people say anointed, that Christ means anointed. And the question becomes, anointed with what? You see, the thing is, in Greek, Christ does mean anointed one, but nobody said or meaning to anoint. But nobody asked the question, with what? What the hell do you anoint him with? Now, when you go into Sanskrit and you got a very similar Christ figure named Krishna, in Sanskrit, Krishna means black. Now, that's very significant. You understand what I'm saying? So that really clears up to what he was anointed with. Because what they talking, the oil said, God anointed my hair with oil. What is the oil? It's melanin. You understand what I'm saying? So, these were black Christ, pure black, pure woolly hair figures all across the ancient world, whether it was Buddha, whether it was Krishna, whether it was Heru, Osiris. These were African Christ. Okay, pure. You understand? Now, when you're talking about a crown, that's very significant, because when we're talking about the crown, and your crown is that energy that's above, that is emanating from your crown, your wool, which is your antenna that connects you to the sun. You see, the true crown was taken from the halo. Now, sometimes they depict the halo behind the head, but many times the early angel, they just put a little circle above the head. That's the crown. You understand? To signify that, and that's where it really is supposed to be. It's supposed to be above the head. You understand? And so the energy is coming down upon you, and the crown is your hair. You understand what I'm saying? That connects you to the sun. Now, another thing about, the woolly head African Christ, the divine woolly hair, is that in Islam, they got a sect, which, Islam they don't really, accept them, because they mystics and they deal with spirituality that is not officially recognized by Islam. They call them Sufis. Okay, and so they do spiritual things, sing and chant, and you know what I'm saying? That is not, authorized by Islam. They stick to some of the earlier traditions of the African mystics that preceded Islam. What does Sufi mean? It means man of wool. You see what I'm saying? So that show you the early Africans, that these, the Arabs and all these people stole a lot of their information from. But then they shunned those very people, because, now they want to be the chosen ones. They want to sit on the throne. So then they depict that information as being, heretic information. So the Sufis were African mystics. You understand what I'm saying? Who did not follow a book per se. You see what I'm saying? They just dealt with the spiritual energy. They just dealt with their connection to the cosmic universe. You see, and so many of the Sufis today are not, in the traditional African sense of spirituality, but in the origin of the sense is only one man with wool. And so they speak about pure wool, and that is the African. Now, this is what they tried to do to take that out of the Bible. You see, when you go to Revelations, they say in Revelation 1:14, said his head and his hair were white like wool, like snow, and his eyes were like a flame of fire. See, right there, what they tried to do was to take the emphasis off the texture. You understand? They didn't say his hair was like the pure wool. They say his hair were white like white wool. So it took the emphasis off the texture and put the emphasis on the color of his hair. Okay, so anybody can have white hair. You understand what I'm saying? So right then they went in there to try to dilute, and we just said that, pure wool. And so again, this is what these Cro-Magnon Neanderthals do. You understand what I'm saying? When they trying to diffuse the black divinity in all the ancient spirituality. And so even when you look here and you see the head of his head, this is Buddha. See, they don't show you all these Buddhas. These are the ancient Buddhas to show you that, that what you call the builders of India and the builders of Angkor Wat and all the ancient civilizations in southern West and East India were all done by the Kushites. And the ancients spoke about that that this was one empire, and that much language and culture was spread all across this Kushite empire from Asia to Africa. You see? And so what we got to understand that our ancestors was teaching us. When you look at many of the pharaohs, you see the serpent coming down and sit on the pineal gland. You see what I'm saying? And when you look at here, you see, if I'm not mistaken, Ramesses, you see the serpent is coming down. This is solar energy, which I'm going to show you. And sit right there on the pot. Now, it's also a portal. You see what I'm saying? It's a cosmic portal to the creative force. You see what I'm saying? Once you understand the power of who you are as the physical manifestation of the cosmos on the planet. When you look at the planet is almost, if I'm not mistaken, about 75% water. And also our bodies is about the same amount of water, about 75%. You see what I'm saying? You talk about all the minerals that's in the earth is also in you. You understand what I'm saying? The melanin that's in you is the cosmic melanin that's out there in the sky at night. When you look up in the sky and you see all that, that's melanin. As above, so below, as below, so above. What is in is out, what is out is in. We got to understand the balance of the universe. And so you're going to see, the spirit is spiral. Spirit is spiral. Why? Because we're talking about infinite knowledge, infinite. And so the spiral is depicting infinity. You understand that this is, our spirit will if it's one with the universe, will transcend all time and space, that we will continue to exist forever and forevermore. You understand that we will not die, that we will transcend this life and elevate to the next life. You understand? Just like the serpent sheds its skin, so we will shed this life and move into a new life. You see what I'm saying? So right here, you see, this is the depiction. As I tell you, you can go look it up on the internet. It's depicted in a serpentine energy. Waves are depicted in a serpentine energy. I put the serpent right next to the energy to show you that it is serpentine. So when you see the solar energy is coming down, depicted as a serpent, then when you look over, you got to understand that's just not a serpent. That's energy. That's energy. And it's sitting on the seat of the soul. The seat of the soul is the pineal gland. It's your consciousness. And so the pineal was depicted as the seat to the soul, the solar, which is a connection to the solar, which is the sun. And that's why your connection to the sun here on the seat of the soul is where that liquid, that anointed with oil, is produced right there in the pineal gland. You also got melanin centers in the back too, with the the Nagra, sciatica, whatever it's called. I got to get that Latin term, but in the back of your brain is also a melanin center. And so you see right here the energy depicted as the serpent, and then when you come again, you see the serpent, sitting on the seat, the Pharaoh's crown, and right there, this particular serpent, which is the king cobra, and that's very significant that I say that. Not just any serpent, it's a king cobra. So right there, it shows you divinity, and even in the ancient world, dragons and serpents that were seen with the crown, because these is Nagas. These are not just any serpents. These is actually deities depicted as serpents, representing energy. You see what I'm saying? As you look down at the king cobra sitting on the pharaoh's pineal, you see the infinite eight. You see the infinite eight right there. A continuation of